Hey, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory. Honor is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashir Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashir Rukakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashir Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Man, more signs of the times. This is kind of ironic, man, I would say. It says, there's a city of Petra is flooded and tourists are evacuated as freak heavy rainfall lashes in Jordan, which Petra is basically the home of you Edomites. Okay, if you look at the ancient map of biblical times of the Saudi Arabian plains and the parts of the Middle East at that time, you had the kingdom of Israel or the kingdom of Judah, and south of that you had the kingdom of Edom, all right, the land of Edom, which is south of Jordan. Okay, which Petra was basically a city, or on the map it was known as a city in Edom. When you read in the Bible, you go into Basra, which Basra was the capital city in the land of Edom, which is where you Edomites really belong. When you look at the maps and you look at the way they built their infrastructures, and you look at Washington, D.C., you look at ancient Rome, Greece, downtown and the districts and so forth, the core districts, you will look at the architecture and the infrastructure of their buildings. And that's one key indicator to tell who Esau Edom is, so-called white man. And what are the chances that the Most High is bringing flood on his real homeland, okay, which is symbolic of you devils going down, because the scriptures say he was going to rain down the floods of judgment on the ungodly, and that's you Edomites, man, starting with you Edomites first, you devils. All right, so they got pictures of it here, and you Edomites, you're through. I'll just say it to you that way. You Edomites, you're finished. All right, you can forget about it, live it up, do what you do, but you Edomites, you're done. What the hell happened? Go back. There we go. All right, so it says the ancient rock city of Petra, okay, which we know you devils, you retreated to the mountains, okay? You believe in concrete jungles. Like when you look at America, America is nothing more but a concrete jungle. It's nothing but a cave. Like when you go downtown Chicago or downtown in these particular metropolis, they build their buildings high up, okay? They built their buildings of high stature, so to speak, full of concrete and steel and so forth. But everything around you is concrete. I mean, you got grass, but shit, majority of this country is fucking concrete, man. Why is that? Because that's a reminiscent of them being in those caves. But you got Jake that's stating that the white man is Japhet. But how is that when the current characteristics of the modern day Edomite fits that of the so-called white man? You got to ask yourself that. All right. It says Petra has been flooded after a freak rainfall lashed in an archaeological site, forcing evacuations. It says water from nearby mountains in Jordan gushed into the iconic rose red city, red, okay, Edom, which means red, E-DUM, which means red, okay. It says rose red city, which has been standing for 2,000 years. It says as an estimate 1,700 tourists and locals were ordered to evacuate the area for their safety after 13 were killed in similar flooding at the site in 2018. It says footage from Jordan's most recent tourist attraction, 150 miles south of Jerusalem, which the border of Edom is south of Jerusalem. Okay, they was always south of us. You can read about that in Obadiah. But it says south of Jerusalem shows a river of water pouring into the gorge, into the entrance of Petra temple as panic. Petra temple as panic tourists flee. All right. It says the Petra Development of Tourism Region Authority said the Jordanian government has evacuated some 17,000 tourists, no, 1,700 Salakia tourists in Petra due to heavy rains. It says in neighboring Man, 3 people were injured in the flooding after the minibus was swept away by the raging torrents. But in 2018, flood waters rose 13 feet and swept away more than a dozen people, forcing 4,000 to evacuate. It says the previous fatal flash flood to strike Petra was in 1963 when 22 French tourists and a local guy were killed by rapidly rising waters. All right, you know what, Esau, man? Honestly speaking, you so quick to tell people to go back to their country. Why don't you go back to your fucking caves, man? This is your land. You're free to go back there anytime. But we know you devils like to hide behind everybody else's identity, so you would never identify with that. But the Edomite go there, they feel right at home. You know, they got the high altitude, they got the rocks, they got the concrete. You know, this is home to you devils, which I believe the definition of Petra, if I'm not mistaken, it may mean, let me look it up real quick. may mean rock. Let me see what Petra means. It may mean like rock or mountain, some shit. Petra definition. Sounds. Let's see what the definition of Petra means. See if they give us a definition. Petra means, yup, rock. That's what I thought. It means rock. Feminine from Peter, yup, Petros or Pedro, stone or rock. It says Petra is also an ancient city and now what is now modern Jordan. Okay, so this is what I did. I looked up the kingdom of E-DUM. You have Petra here, okay, which is south of the kingdom of Judah, Jerusalem, 150 miles as they stay. Kingdom of E-DUM, which is you so-called white people. That's your home, okay? You have your particular lands. Go back there, you know. All right, and it says, according to the tradition, 1200 BCE, which stands for before the Christian era, it says the Petra area, but not necessarily the site itself, was populated by Edomites. It says the area was known as Edom, which means red. Okay, and you look at Petra, the rocks there are red. It says before the Israelite incursions, the Edomites controlled the trade routes from Arabia, which proves that which doesn't mean he's the Arab. Okay, you got to understand our lands were pretty much tight knitted because they were south of us, but I believe they were like west of Arabia, if I'm not mistaken. But it says the Edomites controlled the trade routes from Arabia to south to Damascus in the north. All right, now when you do a search on the Edomites, let's look up the Edomites, right? Of course, there's gonna be some misinformation in here, but let's see what pops up. The white man. Are Esau descendants of the white race, the Edomites? And you got the so-called white man, Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Adolf Hitler, Julius Caesar, okay, which are all men of renown in the nation of Edom. Esau, Edom, Rome. All right, and these are the biblical Edomites. Now, you look at this here, it looked like it resembles Petra. See that infrastructure, that ancient architecture? That's how they built their buildings, man. Even to this day, that's a reminiscent of how they used to do those things. Like the scripture says, nothing new under the sun. Now, if you go here to Petra, look at this. Looks like downtown New York almost, like the stock exchange. And the buildings, therefore, are red. You know, and this is another indicator. And Esau he's trolling you people heavy because he's putting in plain sight on who the hell he is. But yeah, you still got niggas out there that's trying to debunk this. He's basically telling you who he is without telling you. Then you got to do is do a little research and use common sense. All right. But anyway, let's go here. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Let's start at verses. Let's start at 12. It says, woe to him that build a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. How did America get established? Through bloodshed. Okay. How did the ancient empires of the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire get established? Through bloodshed. Okay. Slavery, trading, war. Like right now, America has been in war 220 something plus years since they've been a nation. They've been in war, constant battle, not known a day of peace. Okay. Maybe a few years here in between. But since the white man, hey, Isaac told him, he says, with thy sword, thou shalt live. That should be your blessing. So he told him, he said his whole reign was going to be basically that of the sword. So it makes sense that when Esau came in power during the time of the Greeks, there was constant war among the particular empires at that time. Okay, the Persians and the Medes, you had Darius the Mede. Okay, then you had Alexander. You had his 4 generals. Okay, it was infighting between them, between the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Seleucid dynasty. Then you had what they call the Greco-Roman Wars. You had the Diadochi Wars. You had 3 Diadochi Wars. Okay, at the time of the Romans. At the Greeks, you know. And what happened? Fast forward to modern day Roman Empire. Esau, Edom is still at war. You had the French Revolution. Okay, you had the Spanish-Mexican. You had the Mexican-American War. Okay, you had the Revolutionary War. You know, Spanish Inquisition. These men, and they're just to name but a few wars, man. But this man has been in war since he's been established as a fucking nation, which proves he's the biblical Edomite, man. All right. And it reads here, and it says, where I leave at? And it says, behold, no, it says, woe to him that builded a city, a town with blood, and established a city by iniquity. Iniquity is sin on top of sin stacked up. And it reads, it says, behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people should labor in the very fire, that people should weary themselves for very vanity. And you look at this society, man, people are literally shooting themselves and breaking themselves down in half in order to obtain the American dream. People going to work, working 9 to 5s on this pinwheel waist to obtain vanity, just to get a Hellcat, just to get a particular career, just to get a particular lifestyle. People are literally putting themselves in harm's way to maintain this, man. Drug dealers, okay, covetousness, just to keep up with the Jonesies, which is all a farce. And it says here, for the Lord should be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord. For the earth should be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And this is how the word is being pressed forth through his teaching. It says, but woe to him that give his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. But thou art filled with shame for glory, and drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. It says, for the lords of the cup's right hand should be turned to thee, and shameful spewing should be upon thy glory, man. And this is just symbolic of that, all right? Because you have flooding in your homeland, and on top of that, you've been exposed as being a devil. The whole world knows you're the devil. The only people that's acceptable to your race of people is the 2/3 of our people and these Moabites and these Ammonites. Matter of fact, Moab and the 2/3 of our people. Them the only people on the planet Earth that give you some type of gratuity. But the Lord is breaking your societies down. Okay, he's flooding your homeland. He's getting ready to flood your land you stole. And he is going to flood it with missiles. All right. But regardless of that, you Edomites, man, you're in hella hot water with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because look here, this is the book of Sirach 39 to 25. It says, for good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. So floods, pestilence, famines, like that shit that hit out there in what's the name of that place, Buffalo, New York. That was due to sin, mass sin. Because Buffalo, New York, they're known for killing Native American Indians, slaughtering buffalo. Okay, putting Native Americans to death, Taino Indians. Hence the name Buffalo, New York, man. Okay, you had thousands and hundreds of thousands of buffaloes here that Esau Edom has pretty much made extinct when he conquered Gad and Reuben, okay, and Manasseh and Ephraim, Issachar. And that's why the Most High is bringing judgment on his habitation, man. That's why it says, in your habitation is going to be made desolate. And your current habitation, your modern Petra or your modern Basra is America today, okay, and your respective kingdoms from the NATO to the EU, which harbors France, Spain, Luxembourg, Great Britain, okay, those particular lands. What's another one? Fucking Australia. You know, what's the land down there? Poland. Those are your modern day cities. And it says, there be spirits that's created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. But in the time of their destruction, to pour out their force, they appease the wrath of him that made them. Okay, right? Because this is the will of the Heavenly Father. Okay, it says fire, hell, and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Okay, they said in an article back in 2018, you had 13 people that died from that. Okay, it says death. And that's just a small inkling. That's nothing compared to what Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is getting ready to bring upon you Edomites, man. And just you people in general. Why? Because, hey, you didn't keep why? Because for one thing, you broke the brotherly covenant. And second of all, you put a title on you that didn't fit you. Okay, you claimed our heritage, which you're not the JOO. You're not. All right. Let's go to the book of Malachi. And this basically sums it up here. The book of Malachi, it's like your brothers, man. I'm a little tired, man. I'm a little exhausted. What the fuck? Just one of them days. But this is the book of Matthew 1, and I'm going to start at verses 3. It says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. It says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. But thus says the Lord of hosts, they should build, but I would throw down, and they should call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai have indignation forever. So there's no saving Esau. There's no repenting for Esau. There's no building Esau up. He's created to be the wicked. Okay, he's created to be the sword of the Most High, and that's his purpose. And in the kingdom, in a time of peace, of a real utopian age, a golden age, there's not going to be any need for the sword. So the Most High is going to put him up. Okay, put him in slavery where he belongs. Because the scriptures say they should beat their swords into plowshares, meaning you're going to work. So it's not going to be a need for the sword in the kingdom of heaven, man, because everything is going to be subdued and we're going to be in our right order. Okay. This is the book of Isaiah 34, And I'm going to start at verses 4-5. It says, "For my sword should be bathed in heaven, and it should come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. And the sword of the Lord is filled with blood, and is made with fatness, and the blood of lambs and goats." This represents the altar. Okay. It says, "And with the fat of kidneys and rams, and the Lord to have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea," which is in modern day America. Okay, your modern day NATO and your EU, the cities and so forth, and countries that Esau has the strongholds, like we just mentioned. Okay, the NATO and the EU, those particular strongholds, or those municipalities, or those principalities, that's your modern day Basra, starting with America, man. All right. So anyway, yeah, man, just a little quick lesson. I found that quite interesting. Petra, for you Edomites, it's quite interesting what the Lord is doing to you people, man. All right, but like we looked up, you got the kingdom of Israel, okay, and the kingdom of Judah, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Then you got the Arab tribes, and you got the kingdom of Edom, okay. You had Moab, that was pretty much north. What is that? Northwest of Edom. All right. So yeah, man, you devils are finished. You can live it up. May Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai continue to rain judgment on your habitations, man. And with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and Baba Shalom.